So, if you, Carl, could wave a magic wand and change one thing overnight, whether that's about reach, kins, platforms, or the industry as a whole, what would you change and why?
I would change people's spending habits. I would get them into the mindset. I understand that some people have lost their jobs and some people's circumstances change and things like that. But people panic about, right, we're not going to do this in case the world ends. And, we've gone through a pandemic, but the world didn't end. And most of those people still have their jobs, still have their families around them. Nothing major changed except the way they're thinking and looking at things. So it's habits.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Travel Insights AI. I'm your host, Gemma Zinyama, and I'm the founder of Travel Insights AI, where we explore real stories and honest conversations shaping the future of travel. So today's episode is about resilience, adaptation, and what it really takes to run an independent hospitality business in today's climate. I'm joined by Carl Scott, owner of Woodfarm Barns, a beautifully established rural stay he founded in 2009 after a successful corporate career. This business was profitable for years, but nearly didn't survive COVID, and now he finds himself navigating a very different booking landscape. Carl, a huge welcome to the podcast. It's really great to have you here.
It's lovely to be here. Thanks, Gemma.
Thank you. So to start us off, and for anyone who doesn't know Woodfarm Barns yet, how would you describe what you've built and the type of guest you're creating for?
Yeah, it's interesting. I say we because it is a team thing. So although I own it and I'm responsible for it, it's a team effort. What I set out to do, I was kind of fed up with, you mentioned there the corporate life, and I was kind of fed up with that, of chasing KPIs and targets and things like that. And I kind of set this thing up where I figured if I created somewhere that people enjoyed coming to stay and they left wanting to come back again and recommend us, then I just kind of figured that would be a nicer way of making money than in the corporate world. And I had renovated properties. I'd been doing that for myself for quite a while, a number of years before I started Woodfarm. So it just seemed like the natural step because I didn't want to, as I got older, I didn't want to keep renovating properties. I wanted to focus something that was customer based and customer service based.
Incredible. So what did success look like for you when you first started?
As I say, I hated that whole corporate thing of chasing targets and stuff like that because with a cynical hat on, I figured, come on guys, we've got to make £1 million this week. And well, that's fine, but it might not happen. And so to me, success was creating the place, getting it looking as good as I could make it, then giving people all the things they could tap into. We're based in Suffolk, so giving people every resource to tap into all the great places to go in Suffolk, making them feel welcome and just giving them the feeling that nothing's too much trouble so that when they leave, they go away happy, wanting to come back and wanting to refer us to other people, family and friends.
Yeah.
I kind of figured if I did that, that would be success because if people were coming back and people were recommending us, then I just sort of figured I could make some money. I didn't know how much, and I didn't care. I wanted to enjoy what I did. And people do come back and people do recommend us. 16, 17 years on, I'm still here.
That's incredible. It sounds like, you really have authenticity in you when it comes to what you want guests to feel when they're staying. And I really respect that. It's not just a typical getaway. You really want them to leave rejuvenated, or at least they've experienced the beautiful area that you are based in. So that's incredible.
I mean, my thing is, it's not rocket science. All I've done is create the place I would want to go and stay. Meet people the way I would want to be met, give them the resources that I would want to have. If you can create your own holiday, that's all I've done. That's not difficult. And in my mind, anyway.
That's great. So for several years, the business was profitable
Mm.
and very stable. And then COVID hit. Could you
Mm.
talk about what that period was like for you as an owner?
Yeah. To clarify, we are still profitable, but just prior prior to COVID, I kind of just watched it going up and up and up and up. We were creating something and we were fine tuning and all the rest of it. So we kind of had this period of where it wasn't profitable to start with because not many businesses are. So it had a couple of years of getting it to the profit stage and then just saw it climb and climb and climb and climb. And I thought, this is great. And life is fantastic. And then COVID happened. um, and I kind of saw this thing coming where there was this, as far as I was concerned, there was this thing happening in Italy and they were going into this thing called lockdown. And I was saying to friends, this is going to happen here. And they were, no, no, it's just abroad and you will be able to make so much money because people can't go to Italy and places like that. And I did. I got some of that business for about a week, because people were having flights cancelled and things like that. And then we were shut. We were closed. I was shut for 227 days across 3 lockdowns. I lost a lot of money just in terms of revenue because I had to cancel all the bookings. We were shut. And I kind of went into blind panic. I thought, I have worked my socks off for years for this thing and I'm going to lose it all. It's all going to go. I won't be able to pay loans and it will just go. And I kind of had this really bad time of just, I'm kind of here and there's just no guests. We've got 8 cottages and barns here and we were closed. I just couldn't have any guests in. And I did have people come and stay. We opened it up to the NHS. So I had paramedics and EMTs and people like that staying who were shielding away from family members. But that was my only kind of human contact for a while. And it was just really, really strange and precious little help from the government. But after we came out, we then just kind of went into a situation where we had this kind of bonkers year. I didn't ramp my prices up like a lot of people did, but we had a really crazy busy year. And then the cost of living crisis hit and it's a very different market now. Very, very different landscape. And we're doing okay, but we're having to work incredibly hard. We're having to try and stay ahead of the curve just
Yeah.
to do okay. And that's not what you want.
No, of course. And there are many businesses that I've spoke to who are facing, some of the same challenges that you're
Mm,
talking about.
mm,
But I do love I really love and respect your resilience during the COVID
mm,
period. And you talking about, the things that kept you going when things felt a bit unclear. And
mm,
your corporate experience and your background is a testament to itself
mm,
and how long you'd been in the business. But this was an uncertain
mm,
period. So yeah, I noticed that one of the things you shared on the pre-podcast call, it really stood out to me that this is actually one of the first Christmas where you're not fully booked and
mm.
you are doing well again, and that's great. And
Yeah.
it's not because the product isn't strong, but because reach and visibility feels harder than ever. Can you talk about, what you're seeing right now? Because I know many people are facing the same.
I mean, I promote the business at various events during the calendar, and pre-COVID, people would just book at events. So we would be there exposing the brand, and people go book it, book it, book it, book it. They almost didn't care how much it cost; they would just book it. And since COVID, people don't book at events, and that's just a little barometer. That's not. I only do a few of them a year, but as a barometer of the feeling of the market, people now want a discount. And if there is a discount available, they want another discount. It's that global feeling of uncertainty, I think. And we're having to work a lot harder. Now, my feeling is all of these things are cyclical. It'll come back again, but we don't know when that is. We don't have a crystal ball that we can look into. And I think, to my mind, I have no choice but to be resilient. I've got too much invested in this. It's kind of what I do. It's my life. And so it has to work. And from that point of view, it's not just a job that I can go, "Oh, this is a bit tough. I'll quit." Everything I've got is wrapped up in it. So I kind of figure, well, I've got to make it work. And
Yeah.
we're now having to do different things to attract people. People are behaving very differently now. So, and
Yeah.
as you mentioned, this is, well, we're recording this just before Christmas and we're not full, but nobody is. If everyone was just really, really busy and we weren't, I'd be worried. But the first time we didn't have a full Christmas, I was panicking. I was like, why have we got one barn available for Christmas? But again, pre-COVID, we would be fully booked for Christmas, New Year, and the bit in between before we hit August. They would just be fully booked. And now they're not. It's a sign of the times. But I
Yeah.
think it will come back again.
I absolutely know it will come back again. Again, like you say, it's the seasons and they change dramatically. We do know that I would say that guest behavior has shifted. But what I love is that people are looking for human connection and to be around people in an undisrupted environment. And that's why I think your offering is so strong. People will continue to come when they find you and when you have, maybe improved visibility. But what you have on offer is definitely, a good 2026 offering. I know for sure that I would come and stay at somewhere like your barn as opposed to maybe go abroad and explore somewhere, just because I think automatically of just being at one, being in a cozy, relaxed environment and switching off from
Mm,
the. So yeah, I love what you've got and I'm really excited for what's to come. So just moving on to talking a little bit about technology, because you're also very open to AI and technology. It seems like you're no stranger.
mm,
And you've said that you're actively experimenting rather than resisting it.
mm.
So what are you currently trying without giving away your secrets? And what are you hoping technology can help you solve?
I think you hit the nail on the head, really, Gemma, when you said that I work differently to how I used to work. If I go back 5, 6 years, my job looked different to what it is now. So my role is marketing the business. And yeah, I meet guests and all the rest of it. But in terms of marketing the business, we're having to do it in so many different ways. And one of the things that you said was about connectivity. So I do an awful lot now on social media, massively use YouTube and TikTok and all of the different platforms because you have to. And the thing is, people are now looking for you. 5, 6 years ago, they'd go, have you got a website? They look at it. I like the look of this, book it. Right now, they want to check you out on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, and they want to check your LinkedIn profile and all those sorts of things lots of times, multiple times before they'll make a booking. And even when they've made a booking, I know because people tell me, they go and look at all of our YouTube videos and things like that. And that's why a couple of months ago, we just passed the barrier of writing our 1,000th blog. And we've got more blog posts than anybody, human written blog posts than anybody in the industry. And we've got tons and hundreds of videos and just things like that because people want to connect with you as a human. And very little of that content is me going, please come and stay here. This is great. Come and buy this. It's about being a human. And I've just met some guests half an hour ago that have arrived for Christmas and they were kind of like, yeah, we love your content. And I send newsletters every week and lots of it is stupid. It's just daft stuff, but that's about connecting with people as a human being. And I hate selling. I don't want to be going, all my messages to be, come and rent this barn, come and stay on this barge. That doesn't interest me. It's just about things to do with the area, whether it's in Suffolk or the place that we've got in Tuscany or just folklore and things like that. It's about connecting with people. So we've used technology to work out who our ideal client avatars are so that we can target them. And I'm working with keep it human as well. So I work with a psychologist that we have on the team, as well
Mm.
as lots of AI platforms. And we use Gemini and ChatGPT and Sora and a number of others so that we can stay ahead of that curve. Because if we don't, and I don't necessarily say I love it, I spend a lot of my time arguing with ChatGPT. You have to use it because if not, you're going to get left behind. And so I will as an example, I'll say to ChatGPT, I want to do a video about the folklore to do with Framlingham Castle. I shot one yesterday and I'll get it to frame something out for me. and then I'll pad it out, and then I'll do the video and I'll present the video. But I use it as a tool. And the way that I tend to utilize it there, it's just kind of like Google Plus, isn't it? I don't Google anything anymore. I just go on ChatGPT and ask it stuff because it can just source a bit differently to the way that Google does. But it is just a tool.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like, you are really using the tool to help you with efficiencies. But I
Yeah.
also loved the point that you touched on with making the silly videos and having fun. It
Mm.
allows us to connect with you more personally. So
Yeah.
then when we meet you, we kind of feel like we know you.
Yeah.
And that's what it
They
has.
say that when I meet them, they'll say, "Oh, nice to meet you," and I feel like I already know you and things like that. And to my mind, and I will give away a secret, I call it the Cheers effect. So that you're too young to know this, but there was a program called Cheers, and the
Oh,
strap line of the song was, "Wouldn't it be nice to get away where everybody knows your name?" I don't remember everybody's name, but if I can make them feel like I do, then we like it when people remember our names. We like it when people act as though they know us and we know them. And
absolutely.
but that's just a human connection, isn't it?
Well, it takes us back as well to how things were in a more simpler time.
Mm.
And there is a number of people that are chasing that, like when we wasn't overstimulated, when we wasn't feeling so overwhelmed, we just want to come back to a simpler time. That's why your barns were, really stood out to me.
You also said there about kind of staying somewhere like this where you kind of just connect and unwind and things like that. And that's a huge difference. What I have, and I'm thankful that what I have isn't something you can replicate yet. It's not something you have to go there and be on holiday and unwind and sit by the fire and experience it. It's not, you can't go, "Hey, chat GPT, send me on holiday for a week." It's not possible yet. I think it will be in the future, but I have something that is about an experience. And I think the future of our leisure time is all about experiences, whether
Yeah,
it's retail shopping or whether or not it's going on holiday or whatever it is, but it's about reminding us that life is about experiences rather than just everything online and everything AI and what have you. But we have to use those as tools to help that experience.
absolutely. Thank you. So, where do smaller operators feel most disadvantaged compared to the big platforms?
Probably budgets for spending a ton of money on Google and YouTube and things like that
Uh,
to kind of do lots of Google advertising and Facebook advertising. I can't I literally have to look at Facebook ads and go, "Okay, well, we'll spend £200 on that." Whereas there are companies out there that will just go, "Well, we'll spend 500,000 on Facebook ads." So, and that works. There's a place for it, but I don't have that budget. And that's probably a kind of we have great advantages over big companies, but we also have disadvantages, I would say, as kind of budgets for things like ad spend and perhaps
yeah.
PR and things like that.
Okay. So, if you, Carl, could wave a magic wand and change one thing overnight, whether that's about reach, kins, forms, or the industry as a whole, what would you change and why?
I would change people's spending habits. I would get them into the mindset. I understand that some people have lost their jobs and some people's circumstances change and things like that. But people panic about, right, we're not going to do this in case the world ends. And, we've gone through a pandemic, but the world didn't end. And most of those people still have their jobs, still have their families around them. Nothing major changed except the way they're thinking and looking at things. So it's habits. It's the way that their habits have changed because I know from what I've experienced that people are looking for deals. They're looking for bargains. And even then, they're still not parting with their money so easily. And I don't want someone to part with their money and not give them anything. I want to do all of the things that I talked about, but I would like, if I had a magic wand, there we go, I've got one here.
Yeah.
If I had a magic wand, I would get people to just change their spending habits, to change the way that they think about what they deserve. And in answer to the question of, the advantage of that, it would mean that my job would be easier. Life would be easier.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So I would say there's a lot of advice out there telling accommodation owners, just do more marketing, more platforms, more content. From your perspective, what do you think the industry sometimes underestimates about running an independent stay?
Fact that there are only 24 hours in a day. I work every day, but I don't work the hours that I used to work, but I do work every day. And when I say that, I mean, I have to check my emails because I do all the emails, admin, I have help, but I do bits and pieces every day. But there are things that I would like more time to do. And as an independent business, as the owner of an independent business, it's time is the enemy.
Yeah.
I've got post-it notes all over my desk here of things I've got to do. And some of those notes are going curly because they've been there a week, which will be nice to be able to farm that out to lots of people.
Yeah, I completely resonate with that as well. But despite the challenges, you're still here, you're still building, still experimenting, and you are still curious, which is just incredible. What gives you the optimism about the future, and what are you focusing on next?
One of the main things that we're focusing on at the moment, I have a tech guy that I work with, a colleague. So when I say we're trying to understand the way to kind of get out that we're looking particularly right now, we're looking at YouTube and trying to work out, is it descriptions? Is it titles? Is it thumbnails? Is it your hooks? Is it the length of the video and things like that? The format that we shoot in. So we're trying to get seen by more people. And I don't mean it as a vanity project because I don't care if 500,000 people see every video that I put out and 250,000 people like it. That doesn't make any difference to me if none of them look at my brand and consider us as a holiday option. So I think the biggest thing is trying to crack the ever changing technological landscape, but I don't know if it's ever crackable because it's changing the whole time. So I think to me, it's about working on the things that we believe are the things that we should be working on right now and then looking ahead, because what we're working on now just won't be a thing in a year's time. That we'll be looking at something different or different tools, different methods and things like that.
So, practical advice for other owners, for other independent accommodation owners listening, especially for those feeling maybe slightly discouraged. What's one piece of advice that you'd share based on your journey?
It's about being relentless. And I will caveat it, as I always do, by saying work with people. Don't stand on people. Don't bash people out of your way. Don't go around upsetting people. Be kind to the people that you work with and that you rely on. But in here, you have to be relentless, just not giving up.
Thank you. Carl, that is incredible. This has been such an honest and insightful conversation, especially from someone like yourself who's been doing this for years. You've picked up resilience. You've taught me a lot in a short conversation. So thank you for that. And some of what you've shared around reach, technology, and changing guest behavior actually really stood out for me. But before we wrap up, where can listeners find out more about Woodfarm Barns and just learn more about you and your business?
The quickest way to find us is to have a look at woodfarmbarns.com. There is a contact us page, so people can get hold of me via that, but they're more than welcome to have a look around the accommodation and our out and about guide and our blog pages and stuff like that as well. We are very visible on Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and I'm also on LinkedIn as well. So anybody is more than welcome to get in touch with me.
That sounds great. Everybody, you know where to go to find Carl. Thanks for tuning in to the Travel Insights AI podcast. Thank you to Carl. And if this episode resonated, please follow, subscribe, and share it with somebody in the travel or hospitality space. So thank you for attending, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Bye.